everyone. I think we can start our today's session. So let me introduce myself. My name is Tanya, and I'm a moderator of the Technology Mix community booth. Today we have the Miniq Backstage activity. This is kind of informal discussion and interview with one of the community speakers who takes part in the event in the Z conference during the community days. So I think I leave ability to introduce yourself to you, Karen. So our speaker is Karen Tovmasyan, and please describe yourself by yourself.
Hello everyone, my name is Karen Tovmasyan, Solutions Architect, Apn Systems, Apn Ambassador, Data Community Builder, Speaker, Writer, Headset, Microphone, Technology Hater, Database Enthusiast, and all these words make no sense because today we are here to discuss not me or my life and whatever, but your questions. This is the most important part here.
Yep. I think I would like to remind guys one more time that you'll have a great chance to leave your questions in our chat. I'll try to sound all of them and we'll try to reply all of them. Also the best one chosen by Karen will be a winner of our very special gift for today. At least until we are waiting for questions from guys, I think I would like to start from my own questions. The first one, you have mentioned that you AWS Apn Ambassador. What basically does it mean in general and for you personally?
Okay, that's a tough one. All right, where to begin with? So AWS has a team of evangelists. Those are the people who are paid to give talks, do some fancy workshops, write blogs, and all this kind of fancy fun job that people do outside of working hours if they're enthusiastic about technology and stuff. So that's not enough for AWS for some reason. So they started 3 various campaigns. The first one was AWS Heroes. Those are the people who work their stuff off in order to both do their normal job, what they are paid for, and the community engagement, such as giving talks, writing blogs, building open source projects, store them on GitHub, and yada, 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 yada. The Apn Ambassador Program is similar to this, but the main difference is that if to become an AWS hero, you must be recognized by the AWS itself. So somebody from AWS or somebody from AWS Hero Program must say, hey, this guy is awesome. I saw his project. Here's his portfolio. Please, let's add him to the program. And he's being added to the program. For Apn Ambassador, it's a bit easier while the requirements are the same. So you, as an applicant, you must comply with 3 main requirements. You must be active community member. That means that you must provide and produce the content at least of level 300. So not like writing in Hello World in Lambda, but discussing the benefits of different compute units or how to provide observability with Lambda, so the difference of the content. The second is that you must be certified as at least 2 times. I don't know if I have changed it or not. Doesn't apply to me as I am 5 times certified, so I don't care. And the last but not least, you must be employed at the partner. So you must work for the partner who is at least advanced level. So they have basic level, like the very, very beginners, and they have then advanced technology and advanced consulting partner. And you must be employed by the advanced partner. It can be technology, it can be consulting, doesn't matter. Now, what it does for me and why it's available for me, because I'm jealous. I love an option to write stuff and be recognized for it. And I obviously cannot do it as a part of my job because EPAM doesn't pay me to write blogs, right? My EPAM pays me to solve business problems, right? So that's the main part of my job. But at the same time, I love advocacy as a side activity. So I want to be at least somehow rewarded for that because that gives my motivation. That's the first part. The second part is that there are certain things in AWS that I hate the most. Like there was one thing about like the recent example about the recent announcement from at reInvent. So there was an announcement of strong consistency for reads after write, very long-awaited feature, and multi-target and bidirectional replication. And I was like, strong consistency, multi-target replication. I wanna have both. So I just went, and it turned out that it's not possible. So they don't build it because reasons. Now, being a member of an Apn Ambassador Program, such as being a member of Community Builders Program and Hero Program, allows you, as we say in Russia, access to the body. So now I have a chance to contact the service team directly without writing an email to the technical account manager, without having beers with some of the solutions architects so he can write an email on my behalf. I just can go to the program lead and say, hey, I have this set of questions, or I have this feedback to the service A. I don't know, API Gateway, Lambda, S3, Aurora, Dynamo, doesn't matter. And can I please have a call with them? And if I have a very valid question and very valid feedback, I already have a chance to schedule a call and have a talk with them. Now, this is the best part for me. And then there are also a few nice additions, like you have AWS credits renewed, so you can do some random stuff at AWS and you don't have to pay for it. So that's pretty much for it. And the last thing is that it keeps you, it's a thing that you, well, once you enter, you have to keep producing the content. So every 6 months or every 9 months, not sure, they re-evaluate your progress and your contribution. If you stop contributing, you're being offboarded from the program. And this is something nobody wants to have. Everybody wants to have free AWS credits. And the only thing you have to do is just, I don't know, give a talk. Like, I don't know, grab a deck and give a talk. I mean, it's like an hour of work, or write a blog post. Oh my, two evenings and it's done. I mean, and it keeps you up and running all the time. And that's kind of an amazing thing. So yeah.
That's obviously great. Yeah.
Last thing, one more thing I forgot to tell. For the members who are watching us, if you are enthusiastic about being part of the AWS community stuff, they have announced a program called Community Builders. And unlike Heroes and Ambassadors, there is no strict requirement. There is a form, like an application form. There is Nikolai here with us in the chat. He's also a member of the Community Builders Program. I'm not sure. I think he's a data guy too. Nikolai, drop in the chat if you're a data guy or not a data guy. I'm a data community builder. That means that my main area of expertise is databases, blockchain, and analytics. I have no idea why they thought it's my main area of expertise. Let's keep it like that. Oh yeah, Nikolai is storage guy. So for some reason I'm the data dude and he's a storage dude. So yeah, and when you apply for the community builders, you have a chance to choose what kind of thing you want to contribute to into Evangelist. And this is a great thing, I believe, because you don't have to know everything. Like, you can narrow down the small slot which you need to study, and then you can, I don't know, perform the advocacy against the masses.
That's great. Hopefully, our participants will also have a chance to become an advocate to this program, because basically, I think I'm interested in it even by myself. So I think I'll consider this option. Basically, since the cloud solution and AWS in particular are pretty popular and pretty widespread, so I think this is something kind of becomes more and more kind of must-have for the most of developers, at least some level of understanding of the cloud in general and AWS in particular. Continuing about the AWS, still until we don't have any questions from guys, so we are waiting for your questions, guys. Please type your questions in our chat, and they will be at least recognized by our many thanks, and the best one will be gifted by us. So my next question is, I think, about the about your experience in AWS. I think I will use several times during the session a kind of term top 5, and this is the first time. So I'd like to know what, from your standpoint, is top 5 ideas or technologies that will become a kind of locomotive of the cloud solutions, cloud industry in the next year.
COVID-19. No, really, COVID-19. That's like the best one. I mean, I don't know, mid 2019, like, oh, we're not ready for the digital. How they call? I hate this acronym, digital transformation. Like, I have no idea what it does mean, but let's assume it is there. Like, we don't have resources for digital transformation. We cannot support remote work. We need everybody to be on site to better collaborate. I used to work at Coolblue. It's the Dutch e-commerce company, and they discourage remote work. Like, if you are in the office, you are better in communication and stuff. Not judging, just plain fact. So everybody says that they want to have people in the office for better collaboration, for better contribution. That having people remote is insecure. That storing your data and application somewhere else is also insecure. Doesn't matter. All right. And then suddenly in the March 2020, it all like poof, and you go home. And suddenly you have a budget for that stuff. Suddenly AWS is happy to onboard your startup because they have an Activate program, which helps onboarding the startup companies on their cloud, providing them free stuff like AWS Credit and Consultancy. Anyways, the jokes aside, there are 3 major things that will be driving cloud adoption. Let's use this term, cloud adoption towards big companies. So what is happening now as the reInvent is being on air day after day, and looking at the recent announcement before reInvent and during the reInvent, there are 2 like major topics. The first one is that that AWS is willing to onboard enterprise companies, that big monsters who've been running the, I don't know, Linux machines on the bare metal for a long while for some unknown reason. So they have requirements. They have compliance requirements. They have some legal requirements to run their workloads on their own hardware, but that doesn't matter. Still, AWS will provide capabilities to them to start onboarding. Like, the 2 of the services they've built was the gateway load balancer, which allows you to also filter the traffic against your custom appliance, bought some from F5 10 years ago, and you still have that license you don't want to throw away. And the network firewall, which also allows custom rules and centralized security management, so the network security management. So that really feels like they want this Fortune 500 to be onboarded as soon as possible, non-tech. Second is the drive of the no-code practice. Like, there is a thing called Honeycode, and I'm willing to share because this is just brilliant thing. Let me quickly find it out. I think they have this on the Amazon Honeycode. Yeah, I'm just willing to share it because this is just plain beauty. So Honeycode is the is the funniest example how you can build a website or even a mobile application without writing a single line of code. Literally, you like take the puzzle, and then you have this, I don't know, to-do application, e-commerce website with, I don't know, web shop or whatever. And this is an interesting thing because before, if you're some business, B2C sector, so you, I don't know, you produce, I don't know, plushie toys, and you want to sell them online because, you know, it's 2020, everybody has internet and a mobile phone, and you need to hire a developer. And that's that strange creature wearing glasses, sweater, and for some reason didn't take a shower for several weeks. And you need to hire this guy, and you have no idea what kind of developer do you need. JavaScript, Java. What's the difference? Can I have a Java with a JavaScript, or can I have JavaScript with a Java at the same time? What the hell is PHP? They have an elephant. Oh my god! So you need to hire a developer who will do that stuff for you, and that kind of pushes the businesses back. The small ones, the super small ones, like that is like the enterprise level. There is big tech like Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, Google, and so on. Then you have the enterprise companies. Then you have this medium business, small business, and like the nano business. These small guys, they are being pushed back. They are afraid because they have no idea. And then you just go to the website, say, hey, you wanna have an application. Cool. This is your menu. and just drag your stuff in, customize your design. You don't even need a UX designer. You have this color palette, figure it out. Come on, I mean, it can be easier. So this is the second thing. The adoption of the cloud technologies driven by the entrepreneurs, really small entrepreneurs, without involvement of an IT department at all. Because when you're an entrepreneur of small business, let it be a grocery store, let it be some, I don't know, 8 cafes, some coffee shop, whatever, you just can't afford hiring someone. I mean, you can barely pay yourself a salary, right? So you don't want to hire somebody. And the last one is the machine learning, the biggest buzzword since the big data was created, right? So I have no idea what machine learning is. And I have no idea what's the difference between machine learning and deep learning. And every time I Google the definition of machine learning, I hear 10 different terms, and that kind of makes me angry. The first and the last time I've tried to engage myself to the machine learning was when I've told a colleague about this, and I said, "Ooh, you need to know maths." What? Maths? Why maths? It's machine learning, not current learning. Yeah, but they do maths. I mean, how does it? Whatever. And I was startled that I need to remember all my mathematics, algebra, linear algebra, and all this stuff at university, and I need to remember it again. Come on, no. Until it turned out that apparently you don't need that. You have the fancy machine, which does it for you. Not a machine, but a service. I mean, in AWS, everything is a service. You just go, click your stuff, and then you have all the stuff done for you. And the one of these pioneers in the area of enabling machine learning towards business was the SageMaker, when you not only have the pre-configured environment, so you don't have to hire, I don't know, the guy who will configure the server, then another guy who will prepare the data, then another guy who will train the model and stuff. You have all that from the single UI. And you even have a set of algorithms. You have a definition what these algorithms do and for which use cases they can be used. Cool. All right. And then on top of that, they start building other stuff like the Code Guru, the service which does the code review. So you have the bunch of Java guys, and now you can do this same stuff with the Python guys. So you have a bunch of Java or Python guys. They submit a pull request, or they do just push the commit to the repository, and then the machine will come and say, global variables are bad. Oh, you have a CVE here. Go fix it. Bingo. Like, instead of hiring a couple of principals who know the stuff from the 90s, I can just push a machine to do that for me. Like, amazing stuff. And they built on top of that on top of that SageMaker framework, they built Kendra, Lex, and other services which are hard to remember, and they all do the same. They apply the machine learning to solve the exact business problem. You want to personalize the experience on the website. If you run the e-commerce, you have a service. You want a natural language processing, you have a service. All that built on the machine learning algorithms provided to you, and you don't have to think about it. So these three, enablement of enterprise, enablement of small entrepreneurs using no-code practice, and machine learning, these will be the main drivers for upcoming years. But the king is always the coronavirus, so I'm not going to argue with that.
Basically, the most of them sounds like no necessity in the actual developers almost at all. Almost everything might be automated.
You still have to write the code, right?
Hopefully, at least for my pleasure. So I see the question in the chat. This is the question from Nikolai. Can you please tell us your opinion about the major requirements to be the cloud solution architect?
Okay, that's a tough one. I need to think a bit, if you don't mind.
Sure. And I see even +1 to this question in the chat.
Okay.
Well.
All right. Let's start with the solution architect first. Who is a solution architect? Why is solution architect, and how is a solution architect? So when I joined EPAM, so when you join EPAM, and I hope I spread no non-disclosure information here. I truly hope, but I have to say, if I will be fired, worth it, totally worth it. So when you join EPAM, you have this onboarding procedure. So you're being, in your face, you're being dropped with a list of trainings you must do, like all this compliance training, enterprise stuff, and so on, code of conduct, and yada, yada, yada. And in addition, regarding your role, you must do the training which is role specific. So I, as a solution architect, had to do the training about solutions architecture. Surprise. So the solution architect, by definition of EPAM, is the differs from the systems architect, that the architect looks at the system. So he has a system thinking. Solutions architect has a solution thinking. And I like this definition by a lot, because this adds extra requirement to understand the business necessity. To provide the solution, you need to know the problem. You need to know the business problem. The problem that you need to develop is not the problem the business expects to be solved. To understand the business problem, you need to know the business domain. And suddenly, you being educated and trained in the IT industry for some reason, have to learn about logistics or finance markets or e-commerce or media business or telecom. Never again. Anyways, that's the first part. Now, the second is the cloud. And the cloud solutions architect difference from the common solutions architect is that his mindset is built, surprise, around the clouds. And this is when it comes that fancy old jail quiz about two chairs. One has nice and another one has something I'm not authorized to speak about. This is for the cloud solutions architect, it's the case when you need to find the best cloud solution, cloud service, cloud provided resources to solve the problem. And each cloud is willing to have you onboarded. So they are competing against each other by building tens and hundreds of services. AWS is the best example because they have more than 170 services. And if you ask me how I can build a website how you will run a website on AWS, I can provide at least 3 options from top of my head. 13 if you give me an hour, and maybe 50 if you give me a week. And AWS has always have been like that. There is always more than 2 solutions to the same problem. They differ by this small bit. One is more secure, the other is more cheap, is cheaper, the third one is more reliable, the fourth one is, I don't know, has fancy shiny stars on top of it. So it's up to you. And then what defines a cloud solutions architect, is that by knowing the business, by understanding the business problem, the business specifics, the domain, and the situation where the business is in, is to find the best cloud solution for that particular problem. If you're hired to be a solutions architect or cloud solutions architect at a small startup company, you know that their aim is to grow in business, grow in market share, grow, have a better evaluation, run the IPO, grab all the money, run away. If you are working with the enterprise company, you need to understand that they have a big variety of different IT departments, each responsible for them. And you need to understand that you cannot just bring a single CloudFormation or template or Terraform configuration, just give it, and then they do the magic. No, you have to understand that this is the workload, the product you're running on AWS, and this part of the workload is managed by these guys, and this part of the workload is managed by these guys, because reasons. Political, economical, technical, government required, compliance required. Doesn't matter. You shouldn't care about the why it is required. You have to assume this is required, and you have to comply with that requirement. Cloud solutions architects requirements are the following. Wrapping all that up. So the cloud solution architect obviously should know how to code, because code guru is a good thing, but still you need to drive the project sometimes by yourself, if you are, at least to build a proof of concept for the customer. You need to know variety of tech and variety of cloud tech. And you need to have this distinction. What is the difference between running on-premise message queue and managed message queue? Doesn't matter. And it should matter for you. And you need to understand the business and speak the business language. It's not like Technically, it would mean that you are drawing arrows to the business running, to the C-level officers or top management. Like you have this round circle, which connects to this round circle, and then you show some nice numbers, like the cost deducted by 10%, value growth by 20%, market share growth by 50%. As a result, they buy it. They technically are happy with your solution, and then you need to go and do the same design, but on the tech language, to the developers, to the engineers who will work on that project. So these are the main three, and unfortunately, you cannot have all of them. And sometimes your skills, so you will have this, like in the RPG games, if you spend all your XPs on, I don't know, intelligence, you lose charisma, or you lose, I don't know, strength, whatever. So you have to balance all of that. And you will never have like this straight line. You will have 10 charisma, 10, I don't know, intelligence, 10 strength. You will have always 13 strength and then 1 charisma because you spend all that XP on the strength, and you cannot revert them back, unfortunately. You can only forget. So you will have to shape these shifts, these skills. This time you are wearing a fancy jacket. Next day you are wearing, I don't know, a 10 years old T-shirt. So the devs will, I don't know, work with you and at least trust you.
That's great. And I think a pretty wide definition of the and detailed, absolutely detailed answer about the cloud solution architects. And the next question from Dan is, how about the soft skills?
Presentation, influential. Buy yourself the crystal ball. Comes in handy often. Influencing without influencing. So that was a good one from my manager after the probation period. So I asked him, my probation period ends, and I asked him about the feedback after these 3 months or 2 months, I don't remember. And he said that whenever I hear a problem, I jump to the solution. Right. Okay. So for example, somebody says, "Okay, I have this small stuff. I don't know how you call it. I have a storage. The storage has some pictures. I wanna have some access to these pictures. I want to distribute it over the globe and yada yada. And like, you need a CDN. 100% you need the CDN." And then it turns out that the pictures are being stored not on the persistent storage, but on the database, which is somewhere at my grandpa's tuxedo basement, and so on. So what my manager did said, you should not jump to the solution right away. You need to listen, and you need to start asking questions in a manner that the person who is asking you the question, if it's an engineer, of course, if he's an engineer, not the business consumer, the engineer will figure out himself what has to be done. So if you ask me, I don't know, what do you need to do about running the website on Amazon, I will say, what kind of website it is. And you will say, okay, it's some HTML and JavaScript. Okay, do you want to store some data from your customers? Yeah, maybe I want to have a registration. Okay, cool. Do you want them to be federated and log in by Facebook? Yeah, I do. Okay, what do you think can be done? Oh, I can use, I don't know, this identity federation service. Okay, cool. There you go. These kind of things. Communication presentation, because as I say, you have to present at a community, because you want to have a community engagement. Somehow you have to find the top talent, and that top talent have to have a will to work at your company. How do you do that except by doing community talk? You need to present against people who are wearing the jackets and a costume who cost more than your annual salary, and that means you need to talk to them accordingly. And you have to talk and to communicate to the people who are in your pool, engineers, tech managers, and others. And you need to communicate in a manner that they want to hear you. And this is what I call influencing without influencing. So not act as a leader, not as a boss. Like they have this fancy, I don't know, that fun picture on on the LinkedIn, like the difference between boss and a leader, this wolf drinking water from the pool and all that, I don't know, crazy motivational stuff. Like you have to be a leader, and you must not, I would add to that, you must not act as a leader. You're just a guy who does his job. Your job is to build a presentation, you build a presentation, you give a talk. You need to write an email, you write an email. If somebody struggled with the compiler issue or the OEM daemon firing every 5 minutes, you go and fix it because you know how it's done. And you don't go like, I'm the SA, I'm gonna jump in and fix all your stuff. No, you just sit next to him, okay, what's your problem? Okay, let's fix it. So yeah, and they have to be soft, these skills. like soft like I don't know, marshmallow.
That's the most definitely beautiful explanation, especially the last part.
Mon plaisir.
So, guys, please feel free to ask your questions to our today's speaker, Karen Tovmasyan, in our chat. And as it's has been mentioned several times in our chat, you'll get a great ability to win our very special prize at the very end of our session. The best question chosen by Karen will be rewarded by our team. So until we're waiting the questions, my next one, I think, basically, did you have an experience when you had to persuade your customer to reject an idea to migrate to the cloud?
That sounds like a interview question, like an interview question.
No, this is something interesting personally for me, because I see a lot of examples when people wants to go to the cloud. They heard some buzzwords, and they definitely think that this is something that worth it and that they definitely need. But
Okay.
did you meet the cases when this is absolutely ridiculous?
You do understand that in my position, I'm not authorized to answer otherwise. Like I cannot say if that you should not move to the cloud. You should move to the cloud right now. Right now, here's the van. Jump in. We're going to the cloud right now. Okay, so I think I remember the case, but I need to think if this was more than 5 years ago. Okay, screw this. It has been more than 5 years ago, so it's not under NDA. So let's say there was a customer. Let's say there was a company I worked for, and let's say that company suddenly decided to move to the cloud. And what happened during that migration is that they decided to do the famous and infamous lift and shift. So for those who are new to these cloud migration strategies, there are 6 ways to move to the cloud. By the way, one of them is about abandoning the system. Like just screw this. Like forget it. The lift and shift is about the migration when you take your infrastructure as is and just move it to the cloud as is. So you have a virtual machine, put it in as a virtual machine. You have a database. There is a database. You do this way because it's faster and easier in regards of the expertise. So you assume you have a team full of people who will be managing this service in the co-location, and now they suddenly have these APIs, some resources, and where's the server? What do you mean you don't know? Where is literally somewhere in Frankfurt? Where? Okay, never mind. So many companies practice lift and shift because it's reasonably fast. Now the problem with the company was that they had a custom. Okay, let me put it like that. They had a custom built in-memory graph database optimized to run on the bare metal because it was running on a custom runtime also developed by this company. I love those guys. Those are C monsters. So the problem arises when they moved this is that bare metal to the virtual machine appliance, and of course the performance degradation was unbearable. However, the company's idea and the reasoning was to persuade the how can I say it polite? Migrate together without the workforce. So the idea was that they move the infrastructure, but they will then perform the layoff. So the added problem which arises that nobody was willing to redevelop this graph database in order to run the virtual machine. So I was a youngster those days. So I was like, I don't know, 24 years old. So my voice didn't count too much because I was like just yet another engineer working on yet another infrastructure team. And Linux servers, yeah, that's a good one. Anyways, what I try to explain to the management, to my management, of course, is that this will not end well in the way it is being done now. And instead of moving in the lift and shift practice, if they are really willing to lay off all the engineers, and I was in the list of being laid off, the only thing they can do is to perform the transform. So this is when you completely redevelop the application while only having the business requirement. So unfortunately, they agreed with this manner. So there was still a migration. Yeah, I haven't seen the consequences of such migration. I only remember that unpleasant nights when this graph database was performing inaccurately in the unacceptable low performance layer, and we need to spin up more virtual machines to somehow support that, and then it was resharding and went all that nonsense. So if you ask me now if there would be a reason why I would not tell the person move to the cloud, I won't be able to do so, because there is no. Let me put it like that. The only reason why I would tell you don't move to the cloud, if you are a government, if you are a governmental agency, that would be the only reason why I would say, okay, don't move to the cloud, because the cloud is owned by a private company. Well, all the cloud providers are owned by their private company. So if you want to have the flexibility of the cloud performance, just hire this 10% from these Russian, Belarusian, Ukrainian, any other top tech companies, and let them build the cloud for you. You will spend, I don't know, gazillion amount of money, but you will have your own cloud, scalable as AWS, as GCP or Azure. But build for yourself and store it on the hidden server somewhere managed by the security agencies whatsoever. For the consumer business, for the private companies, there is no particular reason not to move to the cloud. If you start talking about the regulation and compliance requirements, all the companies who supply the private cloud services, they have them. That's their first thing they do. Like if you wanna onboard medical insurance companies or hospital companies, medical companies, what you will do first? Of course, you will acquire HIPAA. If you want to have the bank processing system to run in the cloud, the first thing you will do is to obtain the PCI DSS. You wanna some enterprise company, of course, you will have ISO 27001 and 9001. All of them are already in the cloud, are obtained by the cloud providers. There is no regulatory reason to prevent that. If you talk about some personal reasons, the only downside of moving to the cloud, and we had this conversation on the discussion table at DevOps Conf in September with Alexander Chistyakov and Toma Grishchenkov, the CTO of the how they call it, that some random Russian DDoS protection. I forgot the name. Qualys, Quantum, something with a Q. So we had this conversation about the pros and cons of public cloud, and Alex said that if you want to move to the cloud, you need to understand the architecture of your application. If you don't understand the architecture of your application, if you don't understand your architecture, if you don't understand your application, if you don't understand how your application behaves and what it does, Qualys, thank you. Maybe I'm not sure if it's Qualys. Never mind. You will have a hard time. Because you say, okay, I'm willing to move to this fancy NoSQL database. It has a Cassandra compatibility, so I'm going to assume that it will be compatible with my Cassandra. Surprise, surprise, your Cassandra driver is outdated. And you need to know your application pretty well. And then you have these lazy people who don't want to learn. So I think summarizing and answering your question, You should not move to the cloud if you're lazy and arrogant. Yes, arrogant and lazy and ignorant. These three. These are the main reasons why you shouldn't move to the cloud. Cannot think of the rest of it.
That's wonderful, especially taking into account if you are lazy enough, it's possibly would be a better solution for you to move to the cloud in order to use the whole bunch of beautiful services that might do a lot of stuff instead of you.
Yeah, but you
So
have to manage 2 clusters at the same time until you migrate. And you need to take the dump of the database, replication, run your application multiple times. Oh, that's so hard. Like, boo.
Yep, something like a lot of great blockers, especially for pretty lazy people. Yep. So, guys, as Wolf has already mentioned in chat, we are talking with the great example of solution architect, a writer, a blogger, and etc. etc. Sorry, I lost a lot of your achievements. But anyway, Karen Tovmasyan, so we are ready to your questions. And yep, I see one more question in chat. Are cloud certification worth it? And are they a step towards becoming a solution architect? Speaking from practice of an engineering position.
I come from the engineering background as well. I was a trainee, then I was a systems engineer. I was managing the Cisco Unified Communication Manager, their IP telephony. Then I was the Oracle database administrator. Then I was the DevOps guy, and then I was a cloud guy, and then I was a cloud guy once more, and I'm a cloud solutions architect. So it doesn't matter if you come from the engineering. There is no architect being born right now. I mean, nobody comes into the architecture without being an engineer. The cloud certification, I cannot speak about the certifications from Azure and GCP as I have none of them. About AWS, the architecture certificates give a very good understanding of what is to do the cloud architecture and solutions architecture. The associate one, the AWS Certified Solutions Architect Associate, covers the majority of the AWS services, which are the fundamental for the future solution you will have implement or you will migrate to. The solutions architect is a professional is way, way worse. It's literally continuous and devastating challenge of choosing the right chair. And all of them are wrong. And you need to find the least wrong one. You have a question which explains the problem, and this question is like half of the A4 page. And then you have 4 options or even more, which are also A4 page. I literally had a question, and the options of the answer in the options I had to choose from the AWS IAM policy documents, like this. And I had 4 of them, and I had to read carefully through them to find an error in all of them, and then choose the one which is not faulty. The certifications help a lot. The engineering ones, developer, CSOPs, DevOps, they don't help too much, as they are aiming to evaluate your skills on how to manage AWS cloud and what to use for the particular small problem. The architect is about like a big uncertainty you're facing, and you need to find something that is most possible solution for you. This is a good one. Associate is easy, as you have a random question like your customer wants a persistent storage for his fancy pictures. What do you choose? Oh, come on, S3. In the solutions architect as professional, you will have something like you're working for the banking company who wants to manage encryption with their own keys, and they don't want AWS guys to have access to it. And then like there was something called HSM. I think that's the one. So they are worth it. They are definitely worth it. However, they bring you no value if you don't prepare your skill set and your expertise when you go for them. I mean, passing the exam using the dumps brings 0 value. You only undervalue the specialists who've been working hard to obtain the certification. And if you used exam dumps to pass the exam, you are my personal enemy right now, because I didn't use any dumps at all. For my last two exams, the architect professional and the database specialty, I didn't take courses at all. I just went there YOLO. Like, let's say if I can do this, okay, I was able to do this. Like, I have my arm missing, but I still was able to deliver that exam. The specialty ones also help, by the way, because, for example, the specialty in networking and specialty in databases, the database is the one I have, and that helps you to understand the right database for the workload you're facing. So if you have a social network, you know that this is the database you need to work with. If you have a finance system or OLAP, OLTP, whatever buzzword acronym you put there, you know which database to choose and what this database is capable, and most importantly, not capable of. So you never overpromise. Hope that helps.
Totally agree with you that the main part of each certification is preparation, and if you're prepared well enough, then at least the experience which you have got during the preparation is the most valuable thing that you can take from any certification at all. So guys, hopefully you have some more questions to us, so don't hesitate to put them into the chat, and the best one will get the very special prize from us. So until then, one more question from my side. As you've already mentioned, you're also a writer, and I've even got your book. So
oh, really?
Yep. Yep. And could you please announce and describe it a bit for our audience?
Advertising.
I think this is pretty okay to do this here.
No advertising. All right. Okay. Yep. Guys and girls, guys and ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, there is no normal, common, helpful book about cloud formation before I wrote it. So that is the one. Everything is covered there. So what I did when I was writing this book, I opened the documentation and one by one covered everything that they had when I started writing. When they add more features, and I knew that while I was writing the book, I called the publisher and say, hey, they just released this stuff and I need to write about this too. Dumar, go ahead. Okay, I wrote this too. The book is already outdated, unfortunately. Thank you guys with your CDK and stuff. But if you are working with AWS and you need to work with infrastructure as code, and for the same reason as you hate Terraform, because there is no worse system for doing infrastructure as code than Terraform. Come on, guys. Really. Provisioners, create before destroy. Are you kidding me? Anyway, if you want to learn the most redundant and reliable infrastructure as code service, you have my book. I've spent about 6 months writing it. I did a lot of research before I was writing it, and this book consists of the use cases which are used worldwide. It's not like random hello world stuff, where you will build real infrastructure as code for the real use case scenarios. And if you hate this book when you read it, if you hate this book, please do me a favor and leave a feedback, because it's not it was the first time I wrote a book, but it is not the last time I write a book, and maybe I will write more book. And I would like to write more. I have, answering Olga's question, I have wrote only one book, Mastering Cloud Formation. I have some plans in writing more books, but I need to very, very carefully think about it, because it's not only a matter of a publisher I want to work with, it's more of a matter of a thing I want to tell. And I'm not encouraged enough to write a book I'm not expert in. On a topic I'm not expert in. So I'm really willing to give a very comprehensive book on various topics. I'm not going to name them because there is Roman Sevko. He might steal my idea. I'm not going to give him that chance. But I really need to carefully understand the topic, learn it by heart, preferably, and then come to the publisher with a pitch.
So I think, what do you think about sharing a PubPub link to the book? Is it acceptable basically in this chat? Is it okay? I
I
would like to.
cannot prevent you from posting links in chat, so.
That's great. So I think, at least for the purpose of correct naming of the book, you will have a chance to find it in this page that I've just shared. So, and yep, interesting question from Volga. Where do you get your inspiration?
For what?
I
I
think
I
not
get it.
only for publishing, but in general as a writer, as an engineer, as a solution architect, in
Okay.
general.
Gling, gling. Shame. Shame is the best inspiration. Let me tell you a story. In 2018, in a Telegram chat, there was a conversation about firewalls, Linux firewalls. They were discussing the firewall D and the IP tables. And I jumped into the chat and said that firewall D is less secure than IP tables because IP tables check the packets as they arrive to the kernel, and firewall D bypasses that check. For those who also, like me, don't know Linux that well enough, in the Linux kernel, there is a net filter module. The IP table is the interface to that net filter, and the firewall D is the yet another interface to the same net filter. Using different words, which still make me red, my friends explained to me that I'm wrong. And that was the day when I understood that I need to keep learning stuff. And every time I hear some love towards my judgment or towards my sayings, that pushes me forward to learn stuff. After my fiasco and the funny case with the firewall D and IP tables, I started reading a lot about the Linux internals because it turned out that I don't know Linux. If people say that AWS is complex, you're welcome to read about Linux kernels. If you can explain to me what is the virtual file system, have fun. In any way, shame and yeah, I think that's it. I think the shame is the main motivation because you can be ashamed from many places you come. You can be ashamed even by reading a job description. Like, let's say you just, I don't know, you are looking for a job, for a new job, new experience, and then you see, I don't know, you open you were a senior engineer at your job, at your employer, and then you look for the obviously senior positions, and then you see in the job description that there is like this amount of technologies you need to know. I cannot even fit it in the camera, so let's put it like let's keep it like this, and your technology stack skills is like this. Maybe it is like this. So you will feel angry and ashamed at the same time. You can feel ashamed while talking to people. Like, let's say, during the interview, somebody's asking you, like, I don't know, do you know, can you explain to me what is Docker? And you're like, hey, it's a packaging system for the containers. Okay, what does it consist of? And you're like, I don't know. This is also a shame. And all these things, they drive me to study, drive me to learn, and more importantly, I don't want more people to be ashamed as I am. I'm not willing to give them that chance. I'm not going to do that. So whenever I have free time, I'm being driven by my own shame. I write the stuff so they can read from it and learn from my mistakes. Second is, let's say, an unexplainable willingness to force people to study. There is a good case when I wrote an AWS IAM deep dive series. The reason I did that because there is no comprehensive blog free material about IAM, and these blogs are just for these blog series were written just to explain to people about IAM, because I'm the member of AWS community and I'm fed up with these stupid questions about what is principal in IAM policy, what is the wildcard, how do I assign a role to the EC2 instance. There you have it now. Go and read it. Deny always overlaps the allow. Please remember. And it took over in the Google search. It took over the courses, the paid courses from Cloud Guru, Linux Academy, and all the others. And this is the very good thing. So willingness to teach people, enforce teaching people, because these blogs are for free. I'm being paid only if the person is the member at the Medium, and I get, I don't know, this couple of cents of his subscription and all stuff. So literally, these blogs have earned me like most, I don't know, the biggest number in total is like $18 or something. So I only use them for like there is a there is a blog on IAM which explains everything about IAM. And they took over in the Google search. They took over the paid courses, and this is why I wrote this. I'm writing the same now about DynamoDB, and my main achievement would be if the free blogs on DynamoDB will overtake the blog series of Alex Debris, who is the mastermind of DynamoDB. If that will happen, that I will call it a success.
So wish you good luck. And I unfortunately I still don't see much questions in our chat, guys. This is almost the last chance for you to ask your questions. So please use our chat to leave your questions to Karen here, and the best one will get a very special prize from our Technology Mix booth. And now it's a kind of, oh, yep, we have the question. Karen, how do you maintain your skills and stay current with IT and business industry trends? So.
I'm going to answer short, I don't. I don't. I gave up. And this is the if nobody asks any other question, the question is the champion. I gave up. I don't. I do not maintain. I lost my faith. I'm gonna use this as a chance to self-advertise again. So since I joined EPAM in March, I found out that I have no time to work with my bare hands. I don't have time to develop because my calendar is nowadays busier. I have more appointments and calls during a week or a month than I had in my past year. And I've inspired by this. I wrote, where is it? Yeah, there it is. I wrote a blog post about how my career's changed and what are the consequences for me. So in business industry trends, reInvent and AWS newsfeed with their new releases is my only saving, my only help, because since reInvent I only attended one demo. I don't have time even to attend reInvent in a normal manner. Luckily, they have the recording, so I have a chance to watch them afterwards whenever I have these 5 minutes of free time, whatever. Another problem is that you don't have time to work with your hands because your time, as they tend to say to me, my supervisors, is more precious if I go to the meetings and make this super smart face and talk about techy stuff with a nice behavior. And what is even worse, that if I start working as an engineer or developer, I will write less code, less valuable code per se, less value. I will deliver less value at a worse quality and for a longer amount of time. And you face the situation that you have either you have an option that you can spend some time to write stuff, to develop, to build stuff, to write code. I mean, I love writing code. That's like a meditation for me. I just open the Python, I don't know, the IDE, write some Python stuff without thinking, and then I'm being slapped during the code review. So I'm fine with that. I like this. This is meditation for me. But at the same time, you have a business problem you need to solve, and I have an option that either I do it myself slower and worse, or I give it to the engineering team because they will do it in 5 minutes, and with the quality I never have a chance to achieve. However, whenever I have some free time, and I try to make this regularly, I keep practicing on HackerRank, on the HackerRank, on the lead code, much less nowadays as I used to, but still. For the cloud stuff, for the techie stuff, just, I don't know, random builds. There are plenty of AWS workshops, free workshops. You only pay for your Amazon account. and I just follow the steps and build stuff. So for example, I don't know Kubernetes. I'm the only person in 2020 who doesn't know Kubernetes. I'm alive. Here I am. I don't know Kubernetes and I don't want to learn Kubernetes, but I gave a promise to myself that I will learn Kubernetes. And yeah, I have workshops. I have this, I'm following the Kelsey Hightower's, the Kubernetes the hard way, because I don't want to hear that random stuff about Kubernetes is a platform for running applications. Bullshit. That's some binaries running on the server. I want to know what these binaries do. Okay, they're on containers. Okay, good. Thank you. Don't miss me with that stuff about the orchestration platform. I don't care. I'm not a business consumer. I'm the engineer. Tell me the engineering stuff. And I'm following the certification, the mutual TLS, and I'm this close to installing the SCD cluster, and I'm frightened. I think it will break. So yeah. But TLDR, I gave up. I gave up, and I only practice tech skills whenever I have time and necessity. There is one last question.
Yep. Basically, I think this is okay if we will stay here a bit longer. But anyway, the question that is really important, because this is a kind of common part of our conversation in the Miniq Backstage. We ask each of our speakers about that. So thank you, Ksenia, for sounding this. So what is the most important to be brilliant speaker? What will you advise to every speaker?
To speak. First of all, to speak. And you can speak at the local events. The best way, like in the stand-up comedy, they had these local comedy sessions, open mics as they call it, when the new guy, freshman with his shitty jokes come in and says like, I hate my girlfriend, she always forces me to eat broccoli, and nobody listens. Okay, scratched. The same stuff you can do in the local community. Nobody's going to judge you. The first thing to remember when you're on stage, doesn't matter your topic, doesn't matter your expertise level and the level of talk you're giving to, doesn't matter the audience you have. If you're standing on the stage, you're smarter. That's the first thing to remember. It's like reverse, they are naked. You're dressed. They are also dressed, but you are dressed. You don't think about if they are naked or not. The second is the advice I had from the presentation course. So I'm not going to lie, before giving the public talks, I had presentation courses. I took presentation courses paid by my employer. They were at my employer's place, and I was then training on the internal presentation. So I've been giving the demos to the other departments. I've been giving company-wide demos during the town halls and stuff. So I had practiced internally before I first showed my face to the internet and to the community. During these presentation courses, there was one very valuable lesson about what do you do presentation for? And there are always three reasons why you do the presentation. The first one is that you want to the audience to do something, buy something, leave a message, I don't know, call you, write an email, whatever, do something. Second is that you want them to stop doing something. Writing emails, smoking, drinking, consuming drugs, I don't know, running in the winter, doesn't matter, stop doing something. And the last but not least is the given information. So you are giving a plain informational conversation discussion. You're telling a story, first of all. And outcome of that story is that you either will stop doing something, or you will start doing something, or you will learn something, or know something. You will acknowledge that. And many of the IT conferences and IT communities and speakings are about sharing information. So many people are afraid of giving a talk because they think that somebody on the chair will raise a hand, get a mic, and say, "Why didn't you use the Scala instead of Haskell? Scala has a bigger community." Don't think about that. You gave a talk about running Akka streams with Scala. You don't give a talk about running Akka scripts with .NET or Haskell. You're giving a talk about Scala and Akka streams. The only thing you have to do in this case, you just gently wave, thank for the question, and explain the reason why you give a talk about why you use Scala. Because we have developers who know Scala, and we don't have people developers who have Haskell, or because we have Haskell but don't Scala, etc. And yeah, practice your speaking skills. train against the mirror. When I prepare for the talk for the conference, I rarely give a demo presentation to my peers or to my wife. She's not into IT. She doesn't want to hear all the techy, boring stuff. I usually just train against the have a session against the mirror or against the camera. Just talk to myself, say, and meanwhile thinking about, God, such a stupid face you have right now. But anyway, that's a good practice because you can warm up your throat, warm up your lips, as you will have to talk. And last advice is about the way you present. You're telling the story. You're not reading the book. You're not reading the slides. Don't read the slides. I dare you. Don't read the slides. Don't put too much information on the slides, please. Nobody likes this war and peace on the single page command. Least information, the most information must come from you. You're telling the story. Tell a nice story and let the slides be your supporter. So yeah, I think that's it.
That's absolutely a great answer. I can sign off under each word here because I'm one of organizers of such a kind of local community, and this is exactly what we are saying to each our speaker who has just entered this area and who wants to participate for the first time. So, guys. Yep. Ksenia writes that she's totally enjoyed your answer, and we wish you be a speaker's trainer even. So I think this would be a pretty great new area for you. So okay, and I think since we have run out of time a bit, one more question that is also a kind of tradition for us, and one more advertisement, certainly. Could you please say some words about your tomorrow's, I think, yep, speech in that conference? So,
right.
short announcement.
Let me paste a link so before people run away, because I'm going to give a talk about compliance. That scary, unpleasant, hated, ungrateful thing. I will have jokes there, at least one. So please come. And this my talk will be about implementing compliance in AWS and using the managed service for that. So I will be talking about simple service manager, SSM, and the config, how they work, what they do, and how you combine them to achieve compliance and why you need that compliance in the cloud. So I understand that the majority of the cloud users are the small to medium business, fancy startups, Netflix, and whoever is using that unknown three character infrastructure provider. However, there are companies who need to have compliance, and if you are facing the case that that in order to move to the cloud you need to be compliant, or you just want to learn about two services you haven't heard about before, feel free to join, and I will be happy to give a talk, and I will be happy to have a Q&A session afterwards.
Great. Many thanks to you. And guys, do not miss a chance to listen to the speech tomorrow. So please join the speech by the link that Karen has provided. And I think more or less that's it. So the most pleasant part is to choose the winner. Are you still staying on the question about the maintaining your skills as the best one?
It's like
This is basically
like
this is yep. Olia, I even don't think that we'll need the email because Natalia has already won one more prize from our community, and that is more interesting also in the backstage session. So thank you, Natalia, for the brilliant questions that are always really greatly rewarded by our speakers. So I think that's it, and we'll contact our winner soon. What I'd like to say is certainly thank you for the great conversation, for the great and detailed answers. Hopefully our audience have enjoyed as much as myself here. So I'd like to wish you good luck with your tomorrow's speech, and
Thank you.
if we have a chance as a booth organizers, we'll also join you. But anyway, I'd like to strongly recommend to all our current participants to join the session, the talk with Karen tomorrow. So thank you guys, and have a good day or night or whatever you have in this
My
current
pleasure.
time
Thank
zone.
you very much, guys. Thank you very much for organizing this session and joining me today. I hope to see you tomorrow. And yeah, have fun and stay safe. That's the most important thing nowadays, unfortunately.
Absolutely right. Thank you. So
Have a good one. Cheers.
goodbye.